Hello everyone, I'm Karen Cantu. I'm the Community Outreach Program Specialist for Texas A&M AgriLife Extension for Hidalgo County. Today I bring to you another Take a Stand Anti-Bullying Advocacy video, but today's topics will be regarding bullies and the victims. So let's get started. Just a quick recap, in the previous video I spoke about what is bullying, what are the types of bullying, and about cyberbullying. That video was an introduction to what I will be talking about today. Feel free to watch that video first if you haven't already. The topics that we will be mentioning today are who are the bullies, the different types of bullies, who are the victims, the different types of victims, and bystanders. Now we go into the topic of bullies. Who are the bullies? Bullies are often children who have been bullied or abused themselves. Sometimes there are children experiencing life situations they can't cope with that leave them feeling helpless and out of control. They may be children with poor social skills who do not fit in, who can't meet the expectations of their family or school. They bully to feel competent, successful, to control someone else to get some relief from their own feelings of powerlessness. Continuing, I will begin to talk about the different types of bullies. There is aggressive bullies who are considered the most common. They are physically strong, impulsive, hot-tempered, confident, lack empathy, and are motivated by power and the desire to dominate others. Aggressive bullies tend to be the most popular in the early school years and then less so in the upper grades, perhaps because young children are more likely than older students to admire the macho image. As students get older, they're able to think critically about peers and leaders. Passive bullies or anxious bullies tend to be insecure, far less popular than aggressive bullies, have low self-esteem, unhappy home lives. They won't typically initiate bullying situations but readily joins in once one is underway. They appear to have difficulties concentrating and focusing their attention at school, as well as violent outbursts or temper tantrums that lead to problems with their peers. Once a bullying incident begins, passive bullies become enthusiastic participants. Passive bullies are very quick to align themselves with and display intense loyalty to the more powerful aggressive bullies. The last type of bullies are bully victims. These are a small percentage who have been seriously bullied themselves. They are more likely to be both anxious and depressed. They typically provoke others who are weaker than they are. Bully victims are often physically weaker than those who bullied them, but are almost always physically stronger than their own victims. They are generally unpopular within their peers. So, who are the victims? The victims are typically students who have a low self-esteem, are insecure, lack of social skills, don't pick up on social cues, unable to defend or stand up for themselves, cry or become emotionally distraught easily, physical characteristics that make them appear different, such as being overweight, short, have glasses, or are handicapped, students who have small or non-existent support groups. The first type of victims are passive victims. They do not provoke bullies, are socially withdrawn, often seem anxious, depressed, or fearful. They have few, if any, friends and are typically lonely and sad. Passive victims represent the largest group of victimized children. This cluster of symptoms make them attractive targets for bullies who are unusually competent in detecting vulnerability. In the early grades, initial responses to bullying include crying, withdrawal, and anger. In later grades, they tend to respond by trying to avoid and escape from bullying situations, such as being absent from school or running away from home. Following, we have provocative victims. These victims often behave in ways that arouse negative responses from those around them, such as anger, irritation, and exasperation. They possess a cluster of characteristics that are likely to disrupt a classroom and lead to social rejection by peers, including irritability, restlessness, off-task behavior, and hostility. They represent a small group of children who are a distinct subgroup. Provocative victims often display characteristics of other groups of children as well, including peer bullies. They have elevated levels of dominant, aggressive, and antisocial behavior and low levels of tolerance for frustration. Finally, we have provoking victims. These are children who seem to provoke their own victimization. Many children who are bullied prefer this negative attention to no attention at all. These children will tease bullies, making themselves a target by egging the person on, not knowing when to stop, and then not being able to effectively defend him or herself when the balance of power shifts to the bully. Bystanders. Most students fall into this category. They're afraid to associate with the victim for fear of either lowering their own status or of retribution from the bully and becoming victims themselves. Bystanders fear reporting bullying incidents because they do not want to be called a snitch, a tattler, or an informer. They experience feeling of guilt or helplessness for not standing up to the bully on behalf of their classmates. They are drawn into bullying behavior by a group pressure. They feel unsafe because they're unable to take action. Bystanders clearly have a range of choices when it comes to bullying. They can passively accept it, overly encourage it, or denounce a bully's actions and provide support to the victims. Be a defender rather than a bystander because bystanders have the most power to change the bullying situation. We have came to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Please follow our social media platforms to stay updated. The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension staff will be uploading a variety of videos. Until next time, bye!